30th, 2022. As a reminder, this is a public meeting and is being recorded. For those of you calling in, please ensure that you have muted your phone by pressing *6. First, we have the Pledge of Allegiance given by Commissioner O'Grady.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have some important guests with us today. President and Chief Operating Officer of the Mid-Ohio Food Collective, Matt Habish, and the Food Collective Senior Vice President of Communications, Mike Cochran. Mike is also a former member of the Franklin County team. He was the policy director for Commissioner Marilyn Brown until she retired and helped me transition into this role. They are here with us today to recognize that Thursday, September 1st, will start Hunger Action Month. Matt is here to speak about the Mid-Ohio Food Collective's high demand throughout the pandemic. It is this high demand that continues to bring new families to food pantries all the time. And unfortunately, this is happening all over the country. Food insecurity affects more than 38 million families in this country. We will vote on a resolution today to provide $2.5 million in much-needed aid for the collective. Matt, in addition to talking about the critical issue, can you also tell us how the community can help so many residents who want to offer assistance can?
Recording in progress.
Good morning, Commissioners. President Carl.
Good morning.
Very nice to see all of you again. Commissioner Grady, thanks for letting me in the back door. I just want to give you a real sense of what's happening. We'd think, given this pandemic and we think we're coming out of it, that people would be recovering, and we're actually seeing the opposite. Just to give you a sense of how critical it is, July of this last month was 38.4% higher in visits to food pantries than July of 20. So we have seen this increase, and it's even a bigger increase over what happened during the height of the pandemic. You think about it, it's not rocket science. At the end of the day, we're all experiencing inflation. We're all seeing the effects of trying to find and solve the housing challenge in this community.
Recording in progress.
Trying to see what it takes to buy food, for all of us to go into to buy food, and all the challenges around childcare. But I think there's one point I want to make in all this. The people we're helping are working. I think that's the one thing in all this. Everybody says, tell them to get a job. And I'm like, they have a job. Some have 2 jobs. But the reality of it is we're seeing more and more need for help. And then the bigger challenge most recently is the supply chain challenges that we face with USDA. About 10 days ago, we had 11 loads of cereal canceled, on us that we would have had for the next 3 months. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars of food that we would have had for free, brought to this community and been able to distribute. That's on top of the fact we've already had 72 loads canceled previous to that. So we've seen a lot of USDAs unable to buy food, and we have really, probably for me, 39 years I've been doing this, I've never worried about food. I've worried about a lot of other logistical challenges and meeting the need and getting the food to the people that need it, but I've never had to worry about whether or not we were going to have enough food. I am worried about that. And so today's resolution is really going to help us. It follows on the heels of, the Columbus City Council leading, so Franklin County has money to buy food to make sure that our partner agencies have enough food for the near term. The longer-term strategy for us is really we've got a request in for $50 million to the state of Ohio for the food banks in Ohio, and we're waiting on word whether we're going to receive those dollars. And we have a meeting on Thursday about the Farm Bill, and then Senator Brown will be here as well, so we're going to talk about some of the challenges with USDA to see if we can get additional food in. But this challenge is not going to go away. It's going to take a long time to come out of this. What we bought $5 million worth of food at the beginning of the pandemic. Today, that would buy $2.5 million worth of food. That's the price increases we're seeing. So as a result of this, the dollar's not going as far to buy as much food, and we're having trouble finding certain types of food. So the reality of it is we will put the dollars to work very quickly, and they will help us get through this fall, in terms of what we need. And we're hopeful that the state of Ohio will step in with the ARPA dollars from there. As some of you know, we cover 20 counties, and so we've even made the same request in a lot of those other counties. And I spoke at the Ohio Association of County Commissioners, meeting the other day, and was talking to a lot of the county commissioners in the rest of the state. This is going all over the state, and to your point about 38 million, Commissioner Crawley, it really is a case all over the United States. We're seeing the same challenge, and it's going to take a long time to come out of this recovery. People got hurt during COVID in a lot of ways, and they're recovering, and then all of a sudden you have high inflation, high food costs, high gasoline prices, all those things matter for getting people, and that's what we're seeing. And as a result of that, I'm very appreciative of what you guys are willing to do to step up and to make sure that no resident in Franklin County goes without food. So thank you for what you're doing. We're going to continue to work as hard as we can to get it there. And in terms of way people can help, this is really about people helping their neighbors. This is neighbor helping neighbor. 70% of our pantries are run by volunteers. So these are people that have stepped up and are willing to continue to do that. And they're seeing record numbers of people coming to get help. But they're willing to continue to do that day in and day out. So for us, it's really supporting them. I mean, there was a lot of people. We lost a lot of volunteers during COVID. We lost all of our volunteers during COVID. Time period. We had the National Guard for 15 months that stepped in. Volunteers are starting to come back. We're encouraging more people to get involved. Get involved with your local food pantry in your community. They could use the dollars, they could use the food, they can use food drives, but most importantly, they need your help, in making sure that no resident in Franklin County goes without. So thank you very much for your support today.
Absolutely. Do my colleagues have anything? I can hold my comments.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Mr. Habash. I know you have been doing this a long time. You said 39 years, and I just can't think of anyone in this community who I would trust easier and more than you at the helm in this kind of time. I've known you my entire political career, literally, and I have to say that this was perhaps one of the easiest requests that I've seen come in from a decision-making standpoint. Not only because you're a great leader, and I entrust you with that, but because of the need of Franklin County residents. And I know that you are navigating that. You're kind of like the Bill Belichick of human services. Yeah, you are, man.
For Steelers fans, that's a wrong analogy.
We're still a friend. Hey, he's a great coach, man. I'm sorry. I'm a Steelers fan too, but that guy is, brilliant. That being said, I really believe we're in a time of unprecedented experience. The lag of the last 2 years is real. So the impact of the COVID-19 last year is really kind of just hitting us from an economic standpoint now. And I think the lag from this year will hit us later. And I don't think that, and this is, I'm not an economist, but I've been around enough recessions and enough economic decision-making to know that this lag is real. And so the decisions that we make today are critical to help our residents navigate what is a tough ecosystem, no matter what element you're thinking about: housing, food, employment, whatever it is. And so we've got the county, we've got to make decisions and investments that support those families in need the best that we can. And I really do believe this is one of those things at the heart of it. At the last point I want to just raise is the request of the state of Ohio. We have to, I'm not even sure what the right words are, to implore upon the state the need to invest in this core resource. It's just a basic need. It's akin to air and water. This is what people need to survive. And in a tough time where we're all still navigating, trying to figure out how the last 3 years have been and what the next 3 years will be like, this is an opportunity where they can make a decision that is not Democrat or Republican, but people-oriented. And that's what I'm really hoping that they do. If I don't want to speak for my colleagues, but I'm certainly agree with you on this. If we can be helpful in terms of a letter of advocacy, calls, or whatever we can do to help move the ball down the field with the state of Ohio, I'm not sure how much it'll help, but we're all in. And I think just that advocacy, you never know, it might have an impact. And and I will say, again, I don't want to speak on behalf of my colleagues, but you have an open invitation as to come back here and engage with us about the needs of our residents in terms of food access and whatnot. And I know, Commissioner O'Grady has really been our leader in this topic for a long time, but it's kind of a simple topic too. It's a very basic topic. And so come back as you need, and we'll do the best we can to support the needs of Franklin County residents. Thank you.
So, Matt, I was at the County Commissioner Association of Ohio meeting last week as well, and I spoke to colleagues from all over the state, and, regardless of socio or political background, they're all expressing the same issues. Every county struggling with these similar issues, and here in Franklin County, we have an unprecedented amount of growth going on right now, and we have really low unemployment at the moment. But as you said, lots of folks having to work 2 jobs just to be able to make ends meet, and a lot of people working 2 jobs not making ends meet. Coming downtown, every time I come downtown, I notice there's more and more people on every street corner, with their hands out with a sign, saying they're homeless and they need help. And it's just, but at the same time, as you indicate, more people willing to step up and help. These past couple of weeks, your person, Tammy Tucker, who's, as you know, is a good personal friend of ours of our family, was helpful out in Hilliard at the Hilliard Food Pantry, and the softball team stepped up. And, we just did a little drive out in Hilliard with the girls, off season, just doing a community action activity. They were able to collect 3,600 pounds of food, just doing a simple thing with 25 girls from the softball team. That's a lot of food just in one area, just for one pantry. So people stepping up, but at the same time, more and more people being impacted all across the spectrum, not just here in Franklin County, all across the state. And at a time when, like we say, here in Franklin County, unbelievable growth, but at the same time, more and more people impacted. And a lot of it's based on, as you continue, and you pointed out multiple times, based on the effects of this pandemic and the rising costs that we're seeing across the board, everything from the cost of groceries to the cost of commodities, and as we see in the construction industry, the cost of all the things that everything, the cost of everything has gone up, and it's just been really hard for everybody to deal with, regardless of your where you are literally along the food chain. And so we're just gonna have to continue to do what we do as county commissioners to try to help folks come out of this. And so we've always valued our relationship with the Food Collaborative, but even more so now. So I echo everything that Commissioner Boyce is saying. You've always got a welcome, open invitation here on these topics.
Thank you.
And I would just echo what both of my colleagues said, and just continue to thank you for your service to our residents. Thank your volunteers who show up every day, who are dealing with their own struggles, but put their own adversities aside to be a benefit and a blessing to others. Saying thank you isn't even I feel good enough, because that's like self-sacrificing. Because I think that we all get, and the volunteers get, and you definitely get that, we don't know what food insecurity looks like all the time. Yes, we see people on the corner with signs that say, hungry, can you give me $1 or whatever, but it also looks like a single parent that lives in Dublin who moves to Dublin to try to give their children good schools, but then can barely keep a roof over their head and the water running and the lights on and food on the table. Or in Reynoldsburg, when you have, a food pantry right off of Main Street, and the line goes all the way down Main Street back into Columbus, and you have people with all different types of, you look at vehicles and you try to make judgments about what people have, but you really don't know what people are dealing with, and we shouldn't make judgments based on how people appear. And so I want to say, this is an easy resolution that we'll do later on. We continue to ensure that, we have every resident every day up there, but I always say we want to make sure that our residents can thrive and not just survive. And the way that they can thrive is to make sure that they have healthy, nutritious foods on their table, that they have access to nutritious foods every day, and that they don't have to worry about where their next food is coming from, especially when they have kids to care for. And we know how hunger impacts education. And so what our residents can do and what our neighbors can do as a recovering legislator, I say that, the state doesn't get a pass. The state of Ohio doesn't get a pass. They are on recess, but hunger does not go on recess, right? I know you have a request in for ARPA dollars, and legislators aren't supposed to come back for several weeks. But residents can call their state rep and state senator and apply pressure. We can write a letter, but we can also call and apply pressure. We can apply pressure to the governor's office. They've been sitting on these dollars. And we can do, and the city of Columbus can do all that we can, but it still won't be enough to meet the need. And so while they're sitting on money, they can be, come down the street, gather, and figure out how they can help our residents as well. That is what they were elected to do. So they do not get a pass. So to everyone that's listening, and to everyone that's in the audience, if you care about this issue, you can call your state rep and your state senator and ask them to come to get in the session and try to put together a piece of legislation that will provide the dollars that the Food Collective needs, as well as others across the state, to make sure that Ohioans have access to food. So with that, again, thank you so much. We have a ceremonial resolution for you that we want to present. So Mike and Matt, if you can come up, we'll take a picture.
It's the Hall of the Human Service Hall of Fame. Yeah. That village. Okay. Capylon? No.
Okay.
Oh, you questioning his Steelers?
I just found out.
I had to find out who he was rolling with. I know he had connections to Xavier, but I need to know.
I just found out
Steelers all the way.
Yeah.
your staff member is not a Steelers fan. We got caught in the elevator yesterday, and she was talking about her team. I was like, who is your team? And it was,
The Cleveland Browns?
She's got sense.
yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what has happened?
That's a personnel issue that I don't like to talk about publicly. That's something we're dealing with in HR,
I was
and
like-
going to make some changes in my office. So,
I think it was an interview question that you failed to
I
ask.
was like, how
Good
did
job.
you let this slip by?
Welcome to the county, Talisa.
enjoy working for John O'Grady.
You're always welcome
Yeah.
at my office.
Andy and Kevin has a new staff member. Again, thank you so much to the Mid-Ohio Food Collective. I do want to next just recognize that tomorrow, August 31st, and I know the Sheriff's Office has a resolution on this, but I do want to recognize that it will be International Overdose Awareness Day, which is held each year on August 31st. It is the world's largest annual campaign to end overdose. This is a day for us to remember those who have died from drug overdose and acknowledge the grief of the family and friends that have been left behind by this epidemic. And I know that our administration is working really hard with our stakeholders, the City of Columbus and our trustees and others to put together, and I don't know if why am I struggling this morning? Ken, if you want to speak to all the efforts that we're doing to address overdose awareness and to limit overdose deaths in this community.
Thank you, President Crowley, Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Yes, County Administration has been working with the Franklin County Columbus Substance Use Disorder Task Force to try to tackle this issue of addiction in our community. We've been working on multiple facets. Our Office of Justice Policy and Programs has been a longtime champion of various grants to tackle the effects of addiction in our community. We are in the final process, as you all a few weeks ago approved the One Ohio bylaws and the composition of the Region 1 membership. So that body will be meeting and putting in the work as the opiate settlement dollars flow within the county. This will truly be a marathon and not a sprint, and we have to be very strategic in how we address the opiate epidemic and the issues of substance use disorder that have always been multifaceted in our community. And we have to always remember that we have to look at it from multiple angles. Thank you.
Absolutely, and to your point about looking at it through every angle and every perspective, it's not just always the same old people who will be serving on the task force or representing the county. There has to be members of the community who work in this area. So we have Ywca Clark-Jones from Adam H., Joe Mazzola from Franklin County Public Health, and then our director from Justice Policy and Programs, Director Rochelle Pride. But we're also looking at those with lived experiences, whether it was someone who may have suffered from addiction themselves throughout the years, or someone who may have lost a loved one to addiction and is in this fight with all of us. And so to Administrator Wilson's point, we are continuing to make sure that we have diverse voices at the table to make sure that when these dollars come in, that they are allocated appropriately to really address the need in the community.
Additionally, President Crowley, I would like to state that as a community, as Franklin County, we must not lose the focus on the fact that substance use disorder is not a character flaw in an individual. It is a illness that we should treat like any other illness, and that's why you all are investors in the Adam H. Mental Health, Behavioral Health Crisis Center. That is a $60 million investment that will be made to create another outlet. Because the last stop we want is to inappropriately incarcerate individuals that are dealing with mental health and substance use disorders whenever possible, to find treatment and to find them a pathway to recovery and stabilization. And that gets to your point about our residents not just surviving but thriving. We have to give everyone a pathway to be able to not only just survive but to have a pathway to thrive and give them that assistance they need. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Next, we would also like to recognize that August is Black Business Month. It was established in 2004 by entrepreneurs Frederick E. Jordan and John William Templeton to drive the policy agenda in a way that would help empower Black-owned businesses and allow them to build equity. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, Black-owned businesses account for only about 10% of all businesses in the country and 30% of all minority-owned businesses. Black business ownership is increasing, with the most significant gains coming from Black women. Even as the number of Black businesses have grown, Black entrepreneurs have always faced an uphill challenge that has only been compounded by the pandemic. We must recognize that it's not always individuals' missteps or faults, but deliberate destruction and systemic obstacles. Racist policies and systematic barriers have made it difficult to build generational wealth, difficult to obtain access to loans with affordable interest rates, and difficult to access capital and support. In this way, there has always been systemic barriers for Black businesses to get financial and business resources. And we know Black-owned businesses can be powerful vehicles for advancing economic empowerment and closing the racial gap in the Black community. Franklin County offers assistance for small and emerging businesses through the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. The office partners with other county departments and outside agencies to offer training, loans, and grants, among other activities, to help minority business owners and residents. To learn more, please visit equity.franklincountyohio.com, and please join us in recognizing August as National Black Business Month to show our support for these businesses. And I would just say, outside of our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office, Franklin County Board of Commissioners helped create and seed the CDFI. That is with the partner with the Urban League, and is Avery Frost is the CEO, and I know that they're hiring right now for a director of lending. But that came out, I was able to serve on that work group as we were creating it before I came to the county. And that conversation came out of, the pandemic, where businesses got access to PPP loans, but we know historically who was excluded. Those who did not have Black and minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses who did not have relationships with large banks. And they were shut out, and obviously the impact of that was some businesses had to close shop, and others very struggled to remain open. We continue to work with our Economic Development and Planning Agency with funding to also help with small and minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses. So there are a number of efforts undertaken every single day here at the county to make sure that our Black businesses especially, but small and minority businesses continue to thrive. We know that small businesses and Black-owned businesses alike are the economic engine of our community, and so we want to make sure that they can continue to succeed. So we will be recognizing all month Black businesses. And I don't know if my colleagues have anything to say as a Black business owner yourself.
I wasn't going to say anything because I don't want to, I got to watch my words. The prosecutor's looking at me strangely. But I really think you said it well, and when Black businesses do well, we all do well, because it shows the stretch of our resources in our community and allows us to really zero in on weaknesses for wealth distribution in our community. And it doesn't matter what type of company it is or organization it is, it really is a distribution of wealth and access to certain resources. And that's really what diversity and inclusion is all about, that it doesn't really matter what color you are, what gender you are, or what your background is. It really gives you an opportunity to provide a resource that is needed somewhere in the community to level some playing field, some access to some resource or a product or a service. And so this is a great month and a great topic to celebrate. One of the things I really love about being a commissioner for Franklin County is that our sort of value set is oriented in that access resource. And just like with the last resolution, or at least the presentation we talked about, we spend a lot of our resources working to create a level playing field in Central Ohio. And we're not there yet. The reality is that we've got a ways to go as a society. But our work in Franklin County, our commitment to this topic, this issue, has been tremendous. And that's not a tooting of our horn. It speaks more to a commitment since I've been here. And I want to commend my colleagues. We've never missed a beat at taking the opportunity to try to expand that access resource in that playing field. And it started, Commissioner O'Grady will recall this, it started when we were building the correctional institution, and we set a goal of inclusion to give everybody a chance to be a part of that. It's no fun to build a jail. Let's look at that in a more of a reality sense. That's something that's hard to find a positive outlook on it, other than the fact that we're creating crisis management opportunities that protect our community. But we set out early on to create this goal to say that, I can't recall what it was, I think it was 13% or something. I know we've exceeded that because, again, that's our value set. And we know we've got a lot of work to do. And so I want to say to those entrepreneurs out there, those women, those minorities, or even someone just thinking of something that they can provide as a resource to this community, stay with it, stick with it. It's hard work. As Commissioner Crawley said, I'm an entrepreneur somewhat myself. And I'll tell you, it's hard work. It's a grind. It is a grind. And, I'll be at my other business taking out the trash later today, and, it's just the way it is. As an entrepreneur, you do it all. You do every piece of it. I'll do some bookkeeping. I get things I have to process and different things, but also be taking out the trash. And that's kind of the life of an entrepreneur. and it's up and down, but at the end of the day, it creates a better society. It creates a better community, and that's what I hope we're celebrating this month as we hope we'll have people come in and we can highlight their businesses, because there's not a day that goes by that I learn about some new, small business that exists in Central Ohio, and I'm always so excited to say, oh, tell me, how long have you been there? What do you do? Oh my gosh, this is great. Why don't more people know about this? So hopefully we can have the staff, we can have some, maybe highlight some throughout the month that are interesting or new, or provide some resource that we need to share with the broader community. So I think we could have a cake and ice cream too for
I'm all
as a
down for that.
celebration. So we could do that as well. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So we set a goal of 12%. And
It's 12%.
We far exceeded that. It was well beyond doubling the goal. So for too long, Black and minority-owned businesses have lacked the access to capital, and this has been our ability, whether it's the CDFI or whatever, any of these things that we've done as a board, been our ability to be able to do something about that, and to be able to make an impact, to be able to do something about, set policy, to be able to do something about that. And so it's just been, it's been great to be able to be a part of that. Last week I went to lunch at a black-owned restaurant, and went to lunch and sat down and had a great meal, and then afterwards realized I was having lunch in Delaware County, and I said, well, wait a minute, I just kind of defeated the purpose here.
Oh, I know who you were.
The Royce,
Yeah,
went to
yeah,
lunch
yeah,
at the
yeah,
Royce,
yeah.
and I was like, wait a second. I try to spend my money in Franklin County. I was very intentional about going to a black-owned restaurant, and then defeated the purpose by going out of the county to do it. But anyway, I think that's been, a big part of this whole thing, though, has been a very intentional focus by this board to be able to do things that are, in some way, in some part, intentional about correcting things, and setting policy that at least helps in some way to address that issue, even if it's just a small part, but it's a public policy. It's us saying, hey, this hasn't been right, and we want to make sure that at least in a public way, in a public statement, we're doing what we think is the right thing to do.
Yeah, President Crowley, if I may.
Absolutely.
Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. This board has been focused on economic mobility. And when it was identified as a problem, you just didn't sit back and I call it admire the problem and look at it and talk about it. You all asked county administration to begin to take action to do something about it. That work began like in 2017. Commissioner Boyce called for the formation of an advisory council to study economic mobility, where we had a number of business leaders and governmental staff studying how do we come up with plans to create greater opportunity for minority and small-owned businesses. And then the pandemic hit, in the board then, I'll say, really put all hands on deck and led and funded the formation of the Franklin County Small Business Growth and Equity Alliance. And that's what Freedom Equity came from, that work, the CDFI. And then when the PPP program didn't work for everybody, you all answered with the Equity Fund and worked with the Urban League and One Columbus as a partner with Freedom Equity. And that will complement other activities here in the county and position Franklin County to be able to compete on a national scale as far as attracting entrepreneurs of color to come here and have the opportunity to grow a business and employ people and create wealth. And that's really what it's about, creating wealth creation, And wealth creation builds stronger neighborhoods. It increases health outcomes. It increases the incomes across the spectrum, because we all know the importance of small businesses in our community. And the more diverse our small business base is, the stronger our community will be as it continues to grow. So we can't rest on what we're doing today, being the largest county in the state. But I think the foundation is being built each day through our actions, through our Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, through our Economic Development Department, through you all's ongoing focus on minority business development, on creating health equity in our communities. All of these things are the fabric of creating a stronger Franklin County. When you look at the poverty blueprint, it adds right into this. You look at the close partnership that has been formed with Franklin County Public Health and the collaboration with Columbus Public Health. All of these things will pay dividends in the future by using what we've learned through this pandemic. It's all about collaboration. It's all about the public sector and the private sector coming together to deal with the ongoing public policy challenges we face. It's about dealing with food security. It's about investing in our community partners. It's the things that you all vote on each Tuesday that make a difference. So thank you.
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, to your point, and to kind of piggyback off of Commissioner Boyce a couple weeks ago, because I feel like we haven't been here in a while, but the one resolution that came through Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion that is helping small businesses, give them training to be able to go after contracts, like that matters too. Like it's the small things, like we can say, recognize Black businesses and help them grow, but if they don't have the tools to be able to go, like especially with construction contracts, if they don't know how to bid on that or how to formulate a bid, then they would never be successful. So it's even those small things that we look at to help our businesses along the way. But even when, as Commissioner Boyce was talking about the jail, it's not even just about building a jail, right, and giving people opportunity and doubling, our minority participation. It allows them to grow their portfolio and then expand their business even more. Or if you're working on a bank, or if you're working on another project that doesn't come around often, and they get that one opportunity to participate in with us in building our jail, absolutely it helps us, but it helps them be able to go and seek other business because now they have this in their portfolio, and that they could say, I was able to do this and see it to completion. So that's economic mobility, and that's all the things that we're doing for them, just helping them even, be able to offer a bid, and what needs to be in that, to being able to get a project and then move on to get another project.
Commissioner, you were talking about being a recovering legislator earlier, and last week when I was at the County Commissioners Association of Ohio meeting that Mr. Habash was talking about, we had a long conversation about the legislature and the current makeup of the legislature and a lot of the things that they're doing, and we had a pretty bipartisan conversation about a lot of the struggles that we have as county commissioners with the legislature, and so when we talk about this type of work that we're doing in this area, when the administrator talks about all the work that we're doing in diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we talk about, and Commissioner Boyce and talks about, the history of the type of work that we do and we have been doing in this area, and then you realize that there are folks in the legislature that would like to take away our ability to be able to do this kind of work. It just kind of sends, or as Commissioner Boyce likes to say, makes me feel a certain way. I have certain feelings about this kind of thing. And so, but we have to be able and willing to, continue to make those phone calls, continue to make those visits, and continue to fight against, that type of useless legislation. Not just useless, but spiteful and damaging legislation. Simply because folks are from, have backgrounds that don't allow for them to know and understand the purpose and the intention of what it is that we're trying to accomplish here. Doesn't mean that's worthwhile legislation for the nearly 11 million people that live in the state of Ohio. So, anyway.
That's good. Thank you for that, because that is true. All right. Well, August is also Children's Eye Health and Safety Month, with 2022 designated as the Year of Children's Vision. Nearsightedness is rising dramatically, and more people need glasses than in the past. Unfortunately, this rise in nearsightedness also means a lot more children today are at risk of developing vision-threatening eye conditions that will plague them in the future. We understand families may struggle to pay for glasses or trips to the eye doctor, which in turn can affect a child's ability to focus and learn in the classroom. No child should be scarred with lifelong vision limitations due to their socioeconomic status. That is why we recognize August as Children's Eye Health and Safety Month. All right, so we are on to the regular agenda. If I can get approval of the minutes for the August 2nd and August 9th, 2022 general sessions, and the August 11th, August 16th, and August 23rd, 2022 executive sessions, and the August 4th, 2022 briefing session.
Move approval of the minutes?
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Thank you. The minutes have been approved.
Thank you. First, we have the auditor.
Resolution number 59822. Resolution authorizing the acceptance of an Ohio Environmental Protection Agency 2022 Community and Litter Grant.
Good morning, Commissioners. Trenton Weaver, Staff Counsel for Auditor Michael Stinziano. The Auditor's Office has one item for you today, which I think is timely given the presentation earlier. This resolution would authorize the Board of Commissioners to accept a 2022 Community and Litter Grant from the Ohio EPA in the amount of $8,000. The grant helps us to cover the cost of vendors for 2 public Shred Hunger events, where residents can dispose of paper documents and electronic materials in a safe, secure, and environmentally friendly way. The Auditor's Office, partners with Ywca, local civic organizations, area nonprofits, and paper and electronic recycling vendors for the events. For reference, a similar event was held in October 2021, and the office partnered with Ywca, the Hilliard Food Pantry, Hilliard Kiwanis Club, and the Rotary Club of Hilliard. Over 160 residents were served, and the event resulted in the collection of over 6,500 pounds of electronics, 5,800 pounds of paper documents, and 2,150 pounds of food and household items for donation to the Hilliard Food Pantry. A special thanks to Zach Telerik and the Prosecutor's Office for their assistance with this. Pending any questions, we recommend approval of this resolution. Thank you very much.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 59822.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 59822 has been adopted.
Thank you. Have a good day. Next, we have drainage engineer.
Resolution number 59922. Resolution authorizing drainage engineer Cornell R. Robertson to submit applications and execute project agreements on behalf of Franklin County for Ohio Public Works Commission funding of drainage systems.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nick Soulis, Government Affairs Liaison for Franklin County Engineer Cornell Robertson. This first resolution on behalf of the drainage engineer will authorize us to submit applications to the Ohio Public Works Commission to seek funding for upcoming drainage projects, such drainage projects as were approved in May of 2022 as part of our capital improvement program. Pending any questions, we ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 59922.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 599-22 has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, engineer.
Resolution number 622, establishing, altering, and widening of Alkire Road, County Road number 11, between Darby Creek Drive and Johnson Road, Prairie Township and Pleasant Township, Franklin County, Ohio, declared necessary.
Commissioners, this resolution is the first legislative step in authorizing improvements to the Alkire Road curve, as indicated in the title, between Darby Creek Drive and Johnson Road. It's located in Prairie and Pleasant Townships, and we are seeking to improve safety along the horizontal curve in the roadway. Pending any questions, we ask for your approval.
There are no comments or questions. I'll move approval of Resolution 622.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 622 has been adopted. Resolution number 60122, establishing, altering, and widening of Gardner Road, County Road number 281, between the Madison County line and Ribble Road, Pleasant Township, Franklin County, Ohio, declared necessary.
Commissioners, this resolution is very similar to the last one. This involves Gardner Road, and we are seeking to make similar safety improvements to the roadway along the horizontal curve in Gardner Road. So pending any questions, we ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 60122.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 60122 has been adopted. Resolution number 60222, pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 5543.06, setting Thursday, November 17th, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. at the Boathouse at Confluence Park for the annual meeting of the Franklin County Engineer between Township and County authorities.
Commissioners, the title says it all in this one. This is just the annual meeting that we are obligated to set up pursuant to statute. Pending any questions, we ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 60222.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 60222 has been adopted. Resolution number 60322, Andover Associates Limited Consulting Engineers appointed to assist the Franklin County Engineer by providing general engineering services in the amount of $100,000.
Commissioners, this resolution would authorize the appointment of Andover Associates to assist the county engineer in providing general engineering services, specifically watershed studies and ditch petition process. Andover is a certified WBE. They are a local firm, and they were selected utilizing our qualifications-based process. Pending any questions, we ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 60322.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 60322 has been adopted. Resolution number 60422, HNTB Ohio Incorporated Consulting Engineers appointed to assist the Franklin County Engineer in performing a feasibility study for the Hayes Road, County Road number 2, at Richardson Road, County Road number 119, Improvement Project, Madison Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $55,272.
Commissioners, this next resolution would authorize the appointment of HNTB Ohio, Inc. to assist the county engineer in designing the feasibility study with respect to improvements at Hayes and Richardson Roads. We are looking to improve the safety of that unsignalized intersection. HNTB is a local firm, and again, they were selected utilizing our qualifications-based selection process. Pending any questions, we ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 60422.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 60422 has been adopted. Resolution number 60522, resolution requesting the Ohio Department of Transportation to reduce the speed limit on a portion of Wilson Road, County Road number 25, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, this next resolution seeks authorization to request the Ohio Department of Transportation to investigate the speed limit on Wilson Road in Prairie, in Franklin Township, I apologize. This is for the section of Wilson Road from Broad Street south to the railroad tracks. ODOT will review Franklin County's study and determine a safe speed limit. The county engineer did receive a request from a resident in the area to study the speed limit on this road. We did conduct a study. We determined that the speed limit reduction from 50 miles an hour to 45 would be appropriate. Pending any questions, we ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move approval of Resolution 60522.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 60522 has been adopted. Resolution number 60622, resolution to update the local road safety plan for the use and protection of constituents along county roads which are under the jurisdiction of the Franklin County Engineer.
Commissioners, our final resolution would have you adopt the updates to the Franklin County Local Road Safety Plan. A local road safety plan provides a framework for identifying, analyzing, and prioritizing roadway safety improvements for county residents and roadways. This plan will assist our staff in reducing fatalities and serious injury crashes on county roadways, and it also provides a foundation upon which we can seek additional funding opportunities. Pending any questions, we ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 60622.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 60622 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Have a great day. Next, we have Sheriff.
Resolution number 60722, resolution authorizing the acceptance of an Ohio Attorney General Law Enforcement Diversion Program grant for the Franklin County Heroin Overdose Prevention and Education Task Force in the amount of $55,000.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. Albert Smith, Assistant Finance Director for the Sheriff's Office. Our resolution approves the acceptance of a grant from the Ohio Attorney General to augment the duties of our HOPE Task Force through June 30th of next year. The activities include investigation hours aimed at locating the source supplier on overdose cases and outreach-based activities for overdose victims to link them to support services for recovery. Pending any questions, I ask for approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 60722.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 60722 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Have a good one. Next, we have Office on Aging.
Resolution number 60822, resolution authorizing a contract with Duraline Medical Products Incorporated for incontinence supplies in the amount of $1,165,783.56.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. I'm Shonda Wingo, Interim Director for the Franklin County Office on Aging. Joining me today is Larice Cohen, our Quality Improvement Administrator. This resolution authorizes a contract with Duraline Medical Products for incontinence supplies with Franklin County Office on Aging. The contract requires a supply and delivery of incontinence supplies to Franklin County seniors receiving services through our Senior Options Program. The contract is for a period of 1 year, beginning September 1st through August 31st of 2023. It does include 4 optional 1-year extension periods for an estimated annual amount of $1,165,783.56. Pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 60822.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 60822 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one. Next, we have Community Partnerships.
Resolution number 60922, resolution authorizing a COVID-19 recovery grant to Ronald Mcdonald House Charities of Central Ohio for facility expansion in the amount of $1 million.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. Curtis Brown, Community Partnerships Coordinator. This resolution will be providing a COVID-19 recovery grant in the amount of $1 million to the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Ohio to support their facility expansion at 711 East Livingston Avenue. This funding will support the Ronald McDonald House to expand their facility to provide housing and services to more families. The Ronald McDonald House provides a home away from home for families of seriously ill children. Families may have a child admitted at Nationwide Children's Hospital, Ohio Health, Mount Carmel Health Systems, or the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. They provide private bedrooms, warm meals, and all the amenities of home. Families receive all the comforts of home so they can focus on what's most important, their child. No family is charged for their stay, and it is through the support of community members that they can provide these services. We do have some representatives joining us this morning. We have CEO and Executive Director Dee Anders, Chief Development Officer Angie Hartley, and we also have Board President Bruce Burkholder. And I believe Board President Bruce Burkholder has a few words to say.
Thank you very much for having us. I started volunteering for Ronald McDonald House 30 years ago as a young lawyer, and Ronald McDonald House has gone through a number of expansions, and I dearly enjoyed my experience. But 12 years ago, my son had a tragic accident, and we ended up at Children's Hospital, my wife and I. We'd gone out to watch our girls cheerlead that night, and just like that, tragedy struck. We spent the next 6 months at Ronald McDonald House with our son as he went through his recovery. So with that as an overview, I want to tell you how much we would appreciate the funds. We've been working very hard to expand Ronald McDonald House and are close to closing out our campaign. By expanding the house, we'll be adding more than 80 rooms. We'll actually have, it's called a house, but it'll actually end up with over 200 rooms. Will serve 6,500 families, over 200,000 meals, and as it was pointed out, you don't have to worry about paying anything when you walk into Ronald McDonald House. And I, for one, can attest, when you walk into that house or you're at the hospital, the last thing you want to have to think about is pulling out a credit card to see how you could be taken care of. So this is extremely meaningful to us, and we would be very thankful for your consideration.
Thank you for, Madam President Massey, I want to thank you for the courage to share your story. And each of the commissioners, we all have children ourselves, and I'm certain that we faced those type of scenarios where you just, that's all you can focus on is the child that you have, that you brought into this world. And so we certainly stand with you, and we know the resource that the Ronald McDonald House can be to families. The other thing I wanted to point out just to the broader community is that, you know, the growth of Central Ohio, this is indicative of the growth of Central Ohio. You know, we are right now experiencing unprecedented growth, and it's centered in Columbus and Central Ohio, but it impacts the region. And that need is going to be greater. We really can't measure for what Ronald McDonald House does. We can't measure the impact that it'll have for the region, the families that will need to access the resources at Children's Hospital. And so this is one of those investments that we're making that projects into the future in terms of our great needs in this growth spurt that we're having. And so God bless you. Thank you for your work and your volunteerism with the board, and Godspeed. Keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming down and being willing to share your story. Commissioner Boyce is correct. You know, we all have kids. My kids have been in and out of Children's Hospital more times than I can count. And when I was sick myself years ago, my wife had to access the facilities at the medical center in Tennessee. It was an adult facility, very similar to a Ronald McDonald House. And so we know and understand the need and the type of service that goes on. I've been to the Ronald McDonald House on a number of occasions, and so we understand what the the facility provides, and we appreciate all that you guys do for the community, and so thank you. Thank you for sharing your story.
And I'll just echo that. Thank you for sharing your story. I am a huge supporter of the Ronald McDonald House. It used to be in my district when I was in the legislature. Helped them get a Ronald McDonald license plate. So when you have to renew your license plate, get a Ronald McDonald license plate because the proceeds go to help the children and families at the Ronald McDonald House. But the impact of the house is not just centrally here in Ohio. They impact families from all over the world, all over the globe, who come here for the specialized services and needs that Children's Hospital provides. And so this investment that we have today for the Ronald McDonald House to expand. Yes, we want to touch our residents here in Franklin County, of course, but it will have a global impact. And so I'm happy to support this resolution today. And again, thank you for your volunteerism. Thank you for sharing your story and all the work that you all do at the Ronald McDonald House.
Franklin County will have, when we're done with our expansion, the largest Ronald McDonald House in the
That is
world.
correct. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah. Great.
All right. Well, if there are no further comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 60922.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 60922 has been adopted. Resolution number 61022. Resolution authorizing a COVID-19 recovery grant to the Mid-Ohio Food Collective for emergency food needs and support of the local food system infrastructure across Franklin County in the amount of $2,500,000.
Thank you, Commissioners. This resolution will be providing a COVID-19 recovery grant in the amount of $2.5 million to the Mid-Ohio Food Collective. $1.5 million will go towards the urgent need for food across Franklin County, and $1 million will be distributed among food pantry partners across Franklin County. We also have some representatives from the Food Collective this morning. We have President and CEO Matt Habash and Senior Vice President of Communications Mike Cochran, and I believe they also have some comments to share.
I'm going to make this very brief in light of the earlier comments in your agenda. I just want to say thank you to you. One of the things that I didn't mention in the earlier comments is the long-standing support of this commission and making sure that nobody in this community goes hungry. I'm very grateful for that. I mean, we've had literally 3 out of every 10 residents in Franklin County access our services, since COVID. So it's a case where we're seeing a lot of residents of the county accessing the services, and we want to strengthen our network of partners. And I think that's for us, that's the lifeblood of what we do. I can have the biggest warehouse in the world and have the most food, but if I don't have a strong network of partners to get the food out throughout this community and make it easy for our residents to access, that's what that extra $1 million is going to go for. So thank you again for your support. We're going to have an ongoing challenge, I think, as we can sit and talk about with JFS and the challenges that are coming, with regard to potentially removing the enhanced food stamp SNAP benefits, as we call them. It could have a huge impact, particularly on seniors. When you think about a senior getting over $200 a month and could go back to $21 a month, what that's going to mean with inflation. So the challenge is going to be ongoing. We really appreciate your long-standing support with us, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are no comments or questions, I will move approval of Resolution 61022.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 61022 has been adopted.
Thank you. Have a good one. Next, we have Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Resolution number 61122, resolution approving a contract agreement with Columbus Council on World Affairs for racial equity training in the amount of $29,000.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. Leandra Chikoros, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Administrator. In July 2021, a cultural climate audit was performed, and the results were used to identify employee readiness and perception levels in the areas of cultural competence, structural accountability, and an inclusive culture. Based on employee responses, it was determined that Franklin County employees believe that diversity, equity, and inclusion training is an important initiative to drive cultural competency in the workplace. To demonstrate our commitment to implementation of the 11 adopted recommendations through Resolution Number 0971-21, and in support of the request of our Board of Commissioner employees, the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, in partnership with Human Resources, has linked with multiple Franklin County community partners to introduce new DEI employee training. These trainings will deliver strategic insights, best practices, and guidance for the best way to operationalize diversity, equity, and inclusion and accessibility throughout Franklin County. Our first resolution is a contract agreement with Columbus Council on World Affairs to provide racial equity trainings such as global fluency and a global competence speaker series that will assist our employees with engaging and collaborating with individuals from varying cultural backgrounds. I am pleased to have Patrick Tarian, President and CEO, and Hannah Meyer, Vice President of Columbus Council of World Affairs, joining us virtually to share a few words.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. It's Patrick Tarian, Columbus Council on World Affairs. I'm joined with my colleague, Hannah Meyer. And there's some exciting changes happening in Franklin County, and each of you commissioners have mentioned the growth that is in our region. And based on our last global report, which we've been delivering now with the county's Office of Economic Development, based on that last report, 64% of growth in the last 2 years has been from people moving from overseas to Franklin County. And so much of that is the immigrants here and the new Americans. And I know each of you hold that close to your heart. So let me ask a trivia question for everyone in the room and on Zoom, okay? So you don't have to answer this out loud, but you might want to get your fingers. I'm going to ask, what are the top 3 immigrant groups in the region? I'm going to give you a minute to think about it. This was according to the last census tallies. Number 1, India. Number 2, China. Number 3, Mexico. And number 4, Somalia. So the changes that are happening here aren't happening around the world. They're happening in our own community. So we're excited and privileged and honored to hopefully be working with the county in another way to help ensure that each Franklin County employee has access to tools and educational resources and training to help make sure that we're providing the best services to our very diverse community of Americans. So we're excited to do that, and we hope that you approve these resolutions along with our colleagues. Thank you again.
Question, is that the rate of arrival, or is that the based on the population, current population?
Current population.
Okay, really? Okay, thanks.
I had 3 of the 4 of them, Patrick, so let's,
You get the gold star.
2 of the 4. That was wrong.
We respectfully request approval of this resolution.
If there are no more comments or questions, I will move approval of Resolution 61122.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 61122 has been adopted. Resolution number 61222, resolution approving a contract agreement with YWCA Columbus for racial equity training in the amount of $17,000.
Our second resolution is a contract agreement with YWCA Columbus to provide racial equity training such as racial equity foundations and applications, beyond inclusion, building a community of belonging, and restorative practices. I am pleased to have Phyllis Flanagan, the Justice, Equity, and Belonging Program Manager of YWCA Columbus, joining us virtually to share a few words.
Thank you, and good morning. I'm so thrilled to have this opportunity to join you all. And Franklin County Board of Commissioners would make for our 22nd community partner contract this year, if it goes through. And some of our public partnerships include Greater Columbus Arts Council, Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, and more recently, the Short North Alliance, whom we've had multiple engagements with all of them. Our Justice, Equity, and Belonging team has been very busy this year facilitating important and overdue conversations on race, anti-racism, equity, belonging, and restorative practices. And the feedback from our workshops have been overwhelmingly positive, as well as an opportunity for us to continue fine-tuning our offerings and accommodating a diversity of learning stages and learning styles. And so I am happy to field any questions that you all have.
Well, if there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 61222.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 61222 has been adopted. Resolution number 61322, resolution approving a contract agreement with Performance Consulting Services for racial equity training in the amount of $13,600.
Our third resolution is a contract agreement with Performance Consulting Services to provide racial equity trainings such as working effectively with generational differences in the workplace and an inclusion intelligence, organization alignment, and culture development series. I am pleased to have Melanie Brunson, President of Operations, joining us virtually, and pending any questions, we respectfully ask for the approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 61322.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 61322 has been adopted. Resolution number 61422, resolution authorizing an agreement with the Ohio Business Development Center for Small Business Legal Aid Program in the amount of $50,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ywca Withers, Chief Economic Equity and Inclusion Officer of the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Thank you, Commissioners, for your earlier comments in regarding to supporting your advocacy for our small and emerging businesses, specifically our minority businesses, as these two next resolutions support a women-owned Black business. Commissioners, the first resolution to Ohio Business Development Center is in support of their small business legal aid program that will provide convenient, affordable, and accessible business-related legal services to Ohio micro-entrepreneurs for a pilot project and 7 workshops. The workshops will include access to business-related legal services, monthly business law workshops, small business legal aid clinics, and one-on-one legal assistance. The Small Business Legal Aid Program of Ohio is designed to assist 150 businesses in a 12-month period. Joining us today is Rhonda Barber, who is over the Ohio Business Development Center, to answer any questions and comments regarding this important service.
Good morning. I'm Rhonda Barber, and I am the CEO and founder of the Ohio Business Development Center. Thank you for recognizing Black Business Month. I'm actually going to turn this portion of our presentation over to Attorney Ambrose Moses, who will discuss the small business legal aid clinics.
Good morning. I'm Ambrose Moses with the Moses Law Office and the Community and Economic Development Law Group. We thank the commission, the commissioners for their support of Black-owned businesses and the small business community in general. And with respect to many of the support projects that were mentioned earlier in today's meeting, the need for the professional services to help build or buttress the viability and capacity of small businesses is one of those links that needs to be strengthened. And we look forward to the opportunity to put in place this small business legal aid program to provide those services and to provide that opportunity to strengthen the local small businesses and to add that to our local ecosystem of resources. If there are any questions, we'd be happy to answer those, but we do thank you for what you've done to this point for the local ecosystem, and we look forward to the opportunity to add to that.
Pending any questions, Commissioners, we respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 61422.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley. Resolution number 61422 has been adopted. Resolution number 61522, resolution authorizing an agreement with the Ohio Business Development Center for construction management training in the amount of $15,000.
Commissioners, this resolution is also for the Ohio Business Development Center to support their construction management training that will increase capacity to 30 small construction firms through training, instructional supplies, outreach, and workshop costs. The workshops include the basic blueprint reading, how to read the spec book, how to bid, how to estimate, how to schedule, protecting your brand, certification 101, loans bonding 101, accounting for contractor, legal issues of a contractor. The CEO, Rhonda Barber, again, is here with us for comments or any questions you may have for her that will support 30 small and emerging businesses, enterprises in these workshops.
I was wrong. I said earlier that we had did this resolution already, but I got it confused with briefing last week. This is what I was talking about when we were talking about Black Business Month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
There are no further comments or questions. I'll move approval of resolution 61522.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 61522 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. I want to take a moment of personal privilege and give some time over to Administrator Wilson. I know he would like to recognize someone today.
Thank you, President Crawley. Commissioner O'Grady, Commissioner Boyce, I would like to recognize a member of Team Franklin County that is leaving us to move on to a different capacity in the private sector. Marlise Ryan has been with us working in small and emerging business. When we sort of pivoted and began to place an individual focus on this area, she started working in the Commissioner's office as our SBE coordinator before we got to our grand plan of creating a dedicated Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. So she was sort of a pioneer of a rebirth, a refocus on small and emerging businesses. She was there when this board created the construction inclusion team, and a lot of the goals set at that time on local workforce participation and working and tracking that data and reporting that data out to the CIT team that you all appointed and pushed and tracked the project. Marlise worked with the Gilbane-Smoot team and Deputy County Administrator Chris Long and Public Facilities Management and our whole entire team. And that is a number we're proud of. The number's always moving. I believe it's at 30% or nearly 30% right now on the James A. Kearns Corrections Facility. We went from, I remember the conversations around the challenges people felt when we said 12%, given the nature of the building. And to be at 30% is a remarkable accomplishment that this board should be proud of, that you all pushed for that. And it's been a grand benefit. And I just wanted to thank Marlise Ryan for being a part of that when we started that work, and wish her well in her future endeavors. She will be continuing to work to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in the construction industry. And I'm sure she's going to be a grand asset to the company that she is joining, that we've worked with over the years. So thank you, Marlise Ryan, for your contributions to Team Franklin County.
This is quite surprising. I wasn't
Wait,
coming
before
here.
you say anything,
Okay.
you should know that we have the authority to vote no and not
Please,
accept
offer.
your.
Let's battle.
We're not.
Let's-
Oh, hey, you say anything
Yeah,
now?
let's
Hey,
do it.
that's what we do. And then I also put a call in the Gilbane and asked them to rescind the offer.
Oh, okay.
And so I was texting the CEO just now, and I told him about that accident you had the other day. But you know, I wanted to just add to, this has definitely been a journey. I've been in politics for almost 30 years now, and I think that you uniquely represent what I would describe as the consummate public servant. You're somebody that's committed, dedicated, work hard, and you can rest assured that you own a great part of the work that we've been able to do in this area, and you leave it in a far better, this county, in a far better condition than when we started. And you were very much a part of the journey. I remember when you came from Cleveland, I think it was, when you came from Cleveland, and we felt so thrilled to get you, and you have lived up in every sense of the word to the work. I would count you as a first-round draft pick in this work, and so thank you so much for your service, and I'm certain you'll do great things with your new employer. But I hope that you'll stay engaged with us, and continue to let us know what you learn and what you find out, so that we can be better. You'll be working in the private sector, and there's different perspective that comes with that role, and stay engaged with us, stay connected to us, and I'm certain we can continue to make the difference in the private sector and at Franklin County. So God bless you. Thank you for all your work and your leadership. It's been great.
Thank you, Commissioner Boyce. Thank you. And like I said, it was a total surprise. I felt honored of having this position of the small emerging business, just to see it grow from where it came from, where I started. You always think about you want to leave a place better, and I do feel that I'm leaving right now. Although it's going to be bittersweet, but I'll only be down the street. So I will be coming back and visiting, definitely for the cafeteria and to visit friends and colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Marlise, for your service.
You're welcome. I'm going to run upstairs and meet with Megan, so we're going to duel. You'll see me on the screen in a minute. So.
Good.
Thank you.
Cute dress. Next, we have economic development and planning.
Resolution number 61622. Resolution authorizing an affordable housing development agreement with National Church Residences to receive funding through the Magnet Fund program to assist the development of an affordable housing project in the amount of $1,350,000.
Commissioner Jim Schimmer, Director of Economic Development and Planning. I am really great day for economic development, and as a colleague of Marlise's, I just want to thank her as well, from all of the directors that have worked with her. We've seen that program grow now into DEI, and the great work that Ywca has just presented to you and the resolutions she's had. We're very, very pleased to see that, and I'm really pleased to see how we're working with the small business community as well in economic development and planning. I want to make sure that Ken Wilson said something earlier, and it kind of sums up the work that you're going to hear from us this morning, and that is that wealth really builds stronger communities. And so one of the ways that we're doing that is through the Magnet Fund. I'm going to let Emmanuel take you through the first resolution, but then secondly is our 2022 Tax Incentive Review Council report, which really lays out the way that we've been working with larger businesses. Again, coming back to this idea that wealth creation builds stronger communities is really a hallmark of the work we're doing. So Emmanuel, would you take us through the resolutions you have?
Most certainly, and thank you. Good morning, commissioners, administrators, staff, and also community partners joining us today. My name is Emmanuel Torres. I'm the Assistant Director of Economic Development and Planning. And this first resolution seeks your approval for an affordable housing development agreement with National Church Residences. You'll hear me refer to them as NCR. And this project is from the 2021 application round of the Magnet Fund program. NCR intends to invest approximately $21.9 million to develop 92 units of affordable senior housing called Clover Glen in Franklin County, located at 5691 West Broad Street. Of these, 72 units will be affordable at or under 60% of the area median income, and 20 units will be affordable at or under 30% of the area median income. The amount to be granted through the Magnet Fund is $1,350,000. Joining us virtually today from NCR, we have Amy Rosenthal, who's the VP of Affordable Housing Development, and project leader Sarah Jane Steffes, whom would like to take a brief moment to share a few words with us today. Ms. Sarah.
Thank you, Emmanuel, and good morning, everybody. I'm grateful to be in front of you today. I want to thank Franklin County for supporting affordable housing. As we know, Franklin County is growing rapidly, and having affordable places to live is key to ensuring our community thrives. National Church of Residences appreciates the partnership of Franklin County and the Franklin County Magnet Program. This would actually be our second award. We do have a first award under construction currently, and we are excited to continue to bring affordable housing to our community. We look forward to providing new affordable housing with this project, Clover Glen, and we hope to continue to do so with future projects. So thank you so much for making affordable housing a priority and continuing to do so as we grow.
And pending any questions, Commissioners, I respectfully request the approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 1622.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 61622 has been adopted. Resolution number 61722, resolution approving the recommendations of the 2022 Franklin County Tax Incentive Review Councils.
Commissioners, this resolution seeks the approval of the recommendations made on June 23rd of 2022 by the Tax Incentive Review Councils, to which I refer to as Turks, in Franklin County for activity occurring January 1st, 2021 through December 31st of 2021. The Franklin County Department of Economic Development and Planning, in conjunction with the Franklin County Auditor's Office, conducted the annual Turk meetings to review the annual compliance of companies with active economic development incentive agreements benefiting from enterprise zones, community reinvestment areas, and or tax incentive or tax increment finance programs. They also make recommendations. I am pleased to inform you that all agreements were reviewed and found in compliance by the Turks, which recommended continuance with no action necessary. Overall, the incentives portfolio is healthy and performing at 194% of the goal for total full-time employment opportunities created and retained, and also at 139% of the goal for the real property investment. Additionally, all exceptions that are part of the pre-1994 community reinvestment areas, which do not require incentive agreement, were found to be in compliance, and the Turk accepted the reports with no action required. Pending any questions, I respectfully request the approval of this resolution, thereby accepting the recommendations made by the Tax Incentive Review Council.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 61722.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 61722 has been adopted. Resolution
Thank you.
number 61822, review of petition to annex 10.63 acres more or less from Jackson Township to the City of Grove City, case number ANX-29-22.
Good morning, Commissioners, Administration. My name is Jenny Snap, Chief Operating Officer at Franklin County Economic Development and Planning. This resolution is to consider an expedited Type 2 annexation petition of 10.63 acres from Jackson Township to the City of Grove City. The area to be annexed includes property at 2100 White Road, that's north of White Road, east of McDowell Road, south of Stringtown Road, and west of Interstate 71. Petition was filed by agent and attorney Craig Moncrief, attorney at law of Plank Law Firm. He is in attendance if you have any questions. On behalf of the owner Leroy L. Geyer, trustee of the Trust of Leroy L. Geyer. 100% of the site's perimeter is contiguous to Grove City, and the city passed resolution number CR-44-22 on August 1st, 2022, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved, and a statement regarding incompatible land uses and the zoning buffer. Petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, I would request your approval of this resolution.
There are no comments or questions. I'll move approval of resolution 6/18/22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 6/18/22 has been adopted. Resolution number 6/19/22. Review of petition to annex 23.3 acres more or less from Blendon Township to the City of Columbus, case number ANX-30-22.
This resolution is to consider an expedited Type 1 annexation petition of 23.3 acres from Blendon Township to the City of Columbus. The area to be annexed includes property located at 5442 Sunbury Road, that's south of Sunbury Road, east of Interstate 270, north of Morse Road, and west of Walnut View Boulevard. Petition was filed by agent and attorney David Hodge of Underhill and Hodge, who is in attendance should you have any question, on behalf of the owner, Capital City Baptist Church. 89% of the site's perimeter is contiguous in the city to the City of Columbus, and the applicant has provided a copy of the annexation agreement between Blendon Township and the City of Columbus. Petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in section 709.022 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, I would request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of resolution 6/19/22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 6/19/22 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Resolution number 6/20/22. Resolution authorizing the Board of Franklin County Commissioners to sign the attached discharge of mortgage instrument for Arnell and Capulong and Tita G. Capulong at 912 Worthington Woods Boulevard, Worthington, Ohio, 43085.
Good morning. I'm Julissa Tirushalvan, Administrative Assistant 2 for EDP, and I'll be presenting two resolutions. First one is Arnell and Capulong and Tita G. Capulong received on August 7, 2015 from Franklin County a home loan for $6,000 on real estate, commonly known as 912 Worthington Wood Boulevard, Worthington. The requirements of the housing loan have been satisfied. The property taxes are paid and current, and I respectfully request the approval of the discharge or mortgage on this property.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of resolution 6/20/22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 6/20/22 has been adopted. Resolution number 6/21/22. Resolution authorizing the Board of Franklin County Commissioners to sign the attached discharge of mortgage instrument for Daryl G. Gillespie and Barbara E. Gillespie at 2379 Hyde Road, Grove City, Ohio, 43123.
Mr. and Mrs. Gillespie received on November 14, 2002 from Franklin County a home loan for $15,000 on real estate, commonly known as 2379 Hyde Road, Grove City. The requirements of the housing loan have been satisfied. The property taxes are paid and current, and I respectfully request the approval of the discharge of mortgage on this property.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of resolution 6/21/22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 6/21/22 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Next, we have Job and Family Services.
Resolution number 6/22/22. Resolution approving subaward agreements with Action for Children, the Homeless Families Foundation, and Young Men's Christian Association of Central Ohio for the Spark Kindergarten Readiness Program in the amount of $952,411.57.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Turner, Chief Administrator. We know that parents and caretakers are their child's first and often most important teacher. Spark is a family-focused intervention program that is designed to equip families with the knowledge and skills to ensure their children are ready to enter and thrive in kindergarten. Professional parent partners meet with families where they are and provide monthly lessons to help evaluate children's early learning, or I should say early reading, language, and social skills. All lessons are based upon the Ohio's early learning content standards. We know that data has shown that Spark children significantly outperform their non-Spark peers in areas of math, language, literacy, and motor development. Spark services supplement our Step Up to Quality work and importantly, help to ensure families who may not qualify for publicly funded childcare have access to quality early learning resources and supports. Over the past year, Spark returned back to their traditional home visiting model. They engaged over 225 families, providing approximately 1,800 lessons to children, while offering supplemental guidance for parents. Under this agreement, our community partners will serve an estimated 375 3- and 4-year-old children. Spark supports the 11th recommendation of our poverty blueprint. And pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 62222.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 62222 has been adopted. Resolution number 62322. Resolution approving a contract extension for on-site case management services between the Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services and Nationwide Children's Hospital in the amount of $185,690.
Commissioners, per the contract, 2 FCD-JFS case managers will be stationed on site at Nationwide Children's Hospital to provide timely assistance in determining patient eligibility, primarily for Medicaid, but also for other agency programs. The contract continues a nearly 20-year partnership between our agency and Children's Hospital. Under the terms of this agreement, Children's Hospital will reimburse us for the actual full-time employee costs for both of the case managers, as well as a part of the cost for the supervisor and clerical support. The cost is not to exceed $182,690 over the 12-month term, which also includes the option to extend the agreement for one additional 12-month period. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no further comments or questions, or if there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 62322.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 62322 has been adopted. Resolution number 62422. Resolution approving a subaward amendment to the Image Character Etiquette Incorporated for a youth mentoring program in the amount of $330,877.64.
Our final agreement this morning is for the Heritage Mentoring Pilot, which offers girls 12 to 18 referred by the Family Stabilization Unit a focus on holistic needs ranging from leadership development and resiliency training to social and emotional learning to creative arts. Girls receive a blend of small group and one-on-one mentoring in person and virtually. It's focused on building a safe space for coping with trauma and effective ways to communicate, developing effective strategies for successful academic development, and minimizing interactions with the justice system and developing plans for the future. To date, 27 young ladies from the FSU families have participated in the pilot, and the partnership will look to serve a minimum of 50 additional young women referred by FSU. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this resolution.
There are no questions. I'll move approval of Resolution 62422.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 62422 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Have a good one. Next, we have Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 62522. Resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding for the continuation of support for the Franklin County Municipal Court specialty dockets in the amount of $980,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Melissa, Chief Operating Officer with the Franklin County Office of Justice Policy and Programs. The resolution before you requests your approval of a continuation agreement between the City of Columbus, and specifically the Franklin County Municipal Court, and Franklin County in support of the Municipal Court's 5 specialized dockets. Per conversations with OMB, it was agreed Franklin County could increase its annual support from $340,000 to $490,000 to match the increase allocated by the City of Columbus. It should be noted this is the first increase since 2012, despite the addition of the 3 specialized dockets in 2013. In addition to county and city support, the specialized dockets are supported with municipal court filing fees and LETF, which is Law Enforcement Task Force forfeiture funds from the prosecutor's office. In calendar year 2021, 555 individuals were accepted into one of the 5 specialized dockets. Of those, 67% have not been charged with a new offense 2 years post-program completion. The MOU before you establishes an agreement for 2 years, so for calendar years 22 and calendar years 23. Per your approval, per your request, we respectfully request your approval of this MOU. Thank you.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 62522.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 62522 has been adopted.
Thanks, Commissioners.
Thank you. Have a good one. Next, we have Sanitary Engineers.
Resolution number 62622. Resolution authorizing a private sewer agreement with Epcon Riverside LLC for the Courtyards on Riverside Phase 2 sanitary sewer collection system.
Good morning, Commissioners. Stephen Renner with the Department of Sanitary Engineering. New housing development known as the Courtyards on Riverside Phase 2 was constructed by Epcon Riverside LLC in Prairie Township. Per resolution number 521-20, which authorized a sewer agreement between the City of Columbus for Prairie Township and the county, agreed to eventually take over the sanitary sewer collection system that was privately constructed by Epcon Riverside LLC. The plans for the sanitary sewer collection system were thoroughly reviewed by and approved by both the City of Columbus and our department. The construction inspection was provided by our department to ensure strict adherence to both county and City of Columbus standards and the specifications. The sewer collection system has passed testing and was approved to accept flows from the new homes currently being constructed. To take over eventual ownership of the sanitary sewer collection system for Phase 2, the county must enter into this private sewer agreement with Epcon Riverside LLC. The private sewer agreement has been extensively reviewed and approved by the prosecutor's office and our department. I respectfully request your approval of this private sewer agreement and the resolution.
There are no comments or questions. I'll move approval of Resolution 62622.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 62622 has been adopted. Resolution number 63322. Resolution authorizing the submission of an application to the Ohio Public Works Commission to participate in the State Capital Improvement Program for the Ina Avenue and Gladys Road sanitary sewer collection system projects.
Commissioners, you own through our department, you own, operate, maintain a sanitary sewer collection in Prairie Township and Franklin Township, known as the Sanitary District Number 4 collection system. Within this geographic area on Ina and Gladys Roads, both located within a portion of the district, A segment of both Ina and Gladys are not currently served by central sanitary sewer collection systems, as these households utilize home sewage treatment systems. These systems, it's a similar story. These are on-lot failing systems, and a sanitary sewer system needs to be constructed. The Franklin County, our department has identified both the Water Pollution Control Fund, as administered by the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, and the State Capital Improvements Program, as administered by the Ohio Public Works Commission, as viable sources of financial assistance to offset the cost associated with designing and constructing the needed assets. According to the cost estimate prepared in July 2022, it is anticipated that the construction of the above referenced infrastructure will cost approximately $919,834. In accordance with the guidelines and procedures of District 3 Public Works Integrating Committee, and in order to maximize the probability of receiving financial assistance, our department plans to request that approximately 45.1% of the total project cost, which is $414,846, be financed via the Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, and therefore 54.9% of the cost, a little bit more than $504,988, be financed via the said State Capital Improvements Program. The financial assistance to be provided by the State Capital Improvements Program will be further divided into a grant-based component of approximately 24.9% and a loan-based component, which is about 75.1%. The resolution presented herein will allow for the submission of an application for financial assistance to the District 3 Public Works Integrating Committee for consideration of fiscal year 2024 of the State Capital Improvements Program. This resolution further allows the county auditor to sign the financial certification document with the application, as well as allow the county administrator to sign all documents necessary to obtain the financial assistance should our project score high enough. We respect passage of this legislation for our application.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 633-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 633-22 has been adopted.
Commissioners, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great one. Next, we have Public Facilities Management.
Resolution number 627-22. Resolution authorizing execution of a parking rental agreement with Osers Broad Street LLC for leased parking spaces in support of the operation of county agencies located at Memorial Hall in the amount of $63,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Darla Reardon, Director of Public Facilities Management. I would just like to take a moment to say thanks and best of luck to Marlise Ryan, who's been a great partner with PFM, but sounds like she won't be too far away. So we look forward to working with her in a new capacity, and certainly couldn't be where we are at with the new corrections center aspirational goal right now of over 30% without her help. So best of luck, Marlise. Regarding this resolution, we request to renew our parking rental agreement for leased spaces in the Osers parking garage adjacent to Memorial Hall. The term of the parking rental agreement is for the period from September 1st of 22 through August 31st of 2023. Rental of these supplemental spaces ensures we have adequate parking for building residents and visitors utilizing the services of county agencies at Memorial Hall located at 280 East Broad Street. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this resolution. Thank you.
If there's no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 627-22.
Yes. I'm sorry. Second. And yes.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
I said my vote already. Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 62722 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great one. Human Resources.
Resolution number 62822, resolution authorizing a contract to purchase a learning management system for the Franklin County Board of Commissioners in the amount of $566,842.12.
Good morning, Commissioners. Laura Rapaski, Director of Franklin County Human Resources. This resolution seeks approval of a contract with Meridian Knowledge Solutions, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $566,842.12 for the purchase of a learning management system and a library of training classes to support the professional development and growth of Franklin County employees. The request for use of this system was approved by the Franklin County Data Board via Resolution 21-059. The learning management system will allow Franklin County Human Resources to plan, implement, and assess trainings offered to Franklin County employees. It will also provide us with access to a library of trainings, as well as the ability to offer in-house or other purchase training via an electronic platform. The total not-to-exceed cost includes implementation, licenses, and library access for the 3-year term of the contract. The resolution further authorizes the county administrator to execute any additional documents or take any additional action required to effectuate the agreement, as long as those actions are not inconsistent with the resolution. Pending any questions, we ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 62822.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 62822 has been adopted. Resolution number 62922, resolution authorizing a contract for consulting services for the Franklin County Board of Commissioners in the amount of $60,000.
This resolution seeks approval of an agreement with Clemens Nelson and Associates for consulting services related to a variety of human resources matters, including performance appraisal and employee development training, job audits, interviews, investigation, and labor relations services. Clemens Nelson has extensive experience in providing these consulting services and has successfully provided those services to Franklin County in the past. The contract provides for an initial term of 2 years with the ability for 2 future renewals. The initial term of the contract provides for a total not-to-exceed cost of $60,000. Pending any questions, we ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 62922.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 62922 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Have a great day. Next, purchasing.
Resolution number 63022, resolution authorizing a 4th contract extension for 2 countywide contracts for print shop paper and supplies in the amount of $450,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry Valenier, Director of Purchasing, and joining me is Marlise Ryan, Economic Equity Administrator in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And Commissioners, before I get started on this resolution, I also want to just publicly thank Marlise for her role in helping us support diversity and equity initiatives here within the county. The partnership between purchasing and diversity, equity, and inclusion is one that is so critical to what we do. And I could not be more blessed to have had Marlise be a part of our journey. She's been not only a colleague, but a good friend of mine as well. So good luck to you.
Thank you, Megan.
Welcome. Moving into this first resolution, Commissioners, the Purchasing Department issued a competitive invitation to bid in May of 2018 to secure various paper products and supplies used in our county print shop. Contracts were awarded to 2 vendors, Millcraft Paper Company and Sterling Paper Company. The initial term was 1 year with the option to extend for 4 one-year periods. This resolution requests your approval of the 4th and final extension. These contracts are open to other county agencies who may place orders directly as needed. Pending any questions, Commissioners, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 63022.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 63022 has been adopted. Resolution number 63122. Resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $11,386,582.67.
Commissioners, this resolution requests your approval of 307 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funds. For this resolution, Marlise will be providing the supplier diversity data. Good morning.
Good morning. As my last general session resolution, I have for your approval today 30 purchase orders that are being presented to award to 17 women business enterprise, 12 small and emerging business enterprise, 1 locally economic disadvantaged enterprise totaling $281,616.30. The following agencies have increased supplier diversity throughout Franklin County: Clerk of Courts, Court of Common Pleas, the Data Center, Domestic Relations and Juvenile Court, Engineer's Office, the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Jobs and Family Services, Justice Policies and Programs, the Prosecuting Attorney's Office, Public Defender, the Recorder's Office, and the Sheriff's.
Thanks, Marlise. Pending any questions, Commissioners, we respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 63122.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 63122 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one. Next, Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 63222. Resolution authorizing appropriation adjustments for the implementation of a classification and compensation study.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zach Choleric with the Office of Management and Budget. As stated in the title, this resolution would authorize the budget adjustments to implement the recommendations of the classification and compensation study being performed by Clemens Nelson that was authorized previously by Resolution 1011-21. The study is recommending that the minimum starting rate for Board of Commissioner employees be increased to $17 per hour and associated adjustments to the pay grade minimums throughout the pay tables. For other appointing authorities participating in the study, Clemens Nelson also recommends similar adjustments based on various market factors. The resolution would transfer $1.4 million that has been set aside in the Commissioner's contingency to other general fund agencies to support these increases, as well as supplemental appropriations among the various non-general funds in the amount of $500,000. Pending any questions, would ask your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 63222.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 63222 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Resolution number 63422. Resolution authorizing the President of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners to perform certain administrative functions and to authorize a memorandum of understanding related to the employment terms.
Good morning, Commissioners. Long morning. We'll make this short. Janine Hummer, First Assistant and Chief Counsel for the Civil Division of the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office on behalf of G. Gary Tyak, Prosecutor. As you know, the County Administrator is responsible for all personnel matters related to county employees. Due to this unique position that he is authorized to perform, his employment terms are controlled by the Board of Commissioners. Because of that, you have before you a resolution that authorizes the President to negotiate and execute a memorandum of understanding outlining those employment terms. If there are no further questions, I'd ask for your approval.
If there are no questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 63422.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 63422 has been adopted.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any journalizations for today?
Yes, there is one. Case number ANX-31-22, an expedited Type 2 annexation petition, ANX-31-22, was filed with the Franklin County Economic Development and Planning Department on August 15th, 2022. The petition is requesting to annex 20.8 acres from Norwich Township to the city of Hilliard. The petition will be considered by the Board of Commissioners on September 20th, 2022. Site 4701 Leopard Road, PID number 200-001352, and Leopard Road, PID number 200-001350.
Thank you. Are there any members of the media online or in the room that has any questions? All right, hearing and seeing none, with no further business to come before the board, we are adjourned for the day. Happy Tuesday, everyone.